Welcome back. Today we're going to make Scottish Ale. So I thought I'd start by just talking about what you're going to need. Obviously you need your brew kettle. You need a carrot. You might need a cockatiel. You might need 3 dogs. Who knows? You need your brew kettle, 5 gallons of water. Obviously you're going to need a fermenting bucket, and you're going to need sanitizer because everything's going to need to be sanitized. Then you'll need the hose to run from the brew kettle down into your fermentation pail. You'll need a spoon. You'll need a hydrometer. You'll also need an airlock. Now this is Brewers Best Kit 1038, and it comes with some malt extract. It comes with some spray dried malt. Obviously it comes with the grains, and it comes with the hops. And I've got a few bags here that I use to keep everything strained out. Obviously you're going to get a bag in the kit for the grains. I brought these up from the basement. I use these for the hops so that I don't get a lot of sediment in the bottom. And I think that's pretty much it. Other things that you might want to use, but you don't have to, is a wort chiller. A lot of people just put their brew kettle in a pot of ice and let it chill down that way. That's perfectly fine. I use the wort chiller. It works out better for me. And then, as I've mentioned before, I like to use Excel to kind of drive the timing of all the steps and keep me on track. But other than that, that's all there is to it. So I'm going to get started. I've got the water at 150. I'm going to put the grains in the bag and drop the grains into the brew kettle. And we'll go from there. Alright, as I mentioned, we're at 150 degrees, and we're supposed to stay between 150 and 170 for 20 minutes on this steeping. So here's all the grains in the bag, and we'll put them in the water, and I like to just kind of tie them off to the handle here so I don't lose them. And we'll let that go for 20 minutes, and we'll come back. Okay, the steeping grains, which include some really nice smoked grains and chocolatey type grains, has been sitting in there now for the 20 minutes. And I'm just gonna let these drain, and then we will get the water to a boil, and we'll add our liquid malt extract and dry malt extract, and then we'll return the water to a boil, and we'll throw in our hops. So stay tuned. Alright, we've got a boil going now, so it's time to add in the liquid malt extract and the dried malt. So let's start with the dried malt. And you have to be careful here because you could get a boil over. So you have to be real careful. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. So we'll just turn the heat down a little. You don't want to boil over. That is for sure. That's going to make a big sticky mess. And you're going to have some real unhappy spouses if you do that. So let's go ahead and get this in. It's going in pretty good, actually. Usually I have a lot of kind of chunky action going on, but this seems to be good. And you want to make sure it doesn't, you don't get anything sticking to the bottom of the pot. Okay, good enough. And you can see there's always that, you always get that steam coming up and kind of coagulating the dry malt on the plastic bag, so watch for that as well. Okay, I would say that's pretty good. And now we'll go ahead and put in the liquid malt extract. And I've preheated that, and you'll always want to preheat your liquid malt extract because it's so thick that otherwise you'll have a real hard time getting it out of the can. And this can had a had a label on it. And that's the only thing I don't like about some of these containers. You get a label on it, then you soak it in the hot water, and then you've got a label coming off. So you want to remove the label so you don't get paper in your wort. Okay, so what I like to do is try and submerge it into the hot wort and get more out. Try and get as much as I can out of that. And there's a little chunk. I'm going to say that's pretty good. That is really good. Okay, so I'm going to continue to stir this for a while, and I'll need to bring it back to a gentle boil. And when I do that, then we'll be ready to throw the bittering hops in. Okay, we've got our boil going on again, so now we're going to put in the bittering hops. And as I mentioned, I put them in a hot bag because I don't want all the sediment. I do have a sediment screen in the bottom of the kettle, but I figure every little bit helps, and I'm just going to let that fall in and boil in. Now we're on a 40-minute boil, so hang in there. We'll be back in 40 minutes. Okay, we actually have 20 minutes left in the boil, but one thing that I didn't mention is that if you are using a wort chiller, you need to have it in there with 20 minutes left in the boil. So I'm going to just set my wort chiller in there so that I'm ready to go at the end of the boil when we're ready to terminate and cool her down. So that's it. Back in 20 minutes. Okay, we've done a 40-minute boil, and now we have a 5-minute boil with the aroma hops. So they'll go in, and then in 5 minutes we'll terminate the boil and get it down to a temperature where we can drop it into the fermentation pail. Okay, we're going to terminate the boil, and we're going to start our wort chiller. Alright, so about 20 minutes from now, I figure we will be ready to dump into the fermentation pail and take a hydrometer reading. Okay, we're down to the appropriate temperature, which is around 70 degrees, so let's go ahead and move it from the brew kettle into the fermenting pail. And when that gets done dropping, I'm going to get a hydrometer reading, and I'm going to aerate the wort and pitch the yeast. So we'll come back as soon as the pail is full. Okay, so I did the hydrometer reading, and it's a 1.038, which is right on target. And now we're just going to aerate the wort, and we'll probably do that for about, slow aeration for, approximately, let's say, 30 seconds. It always takes a while to kind of get it going. There we go. And this really helps with the yeast. Okay, that's good enough. And I'm just going to move it right into the sanitizer so that it can kind of blow out through there as well. Turn it off, and now we're really ready to pitch the yeast. And a lot of times you'll have instructions that say to hydrate it. I've noticed recently on the Brewers Best kits, they say to just pitch it directly on top of the wort, so that's what I'm going to do. It seems to have worked out pretty well lately, so we'll do that. And then we'll gently stir it into the wort. soon as we can get this stirred in there, at least as good as can be, then we'll go ahead and put the top on, and we should have fermentation starting within 24 hours. And then next week we will move it to the secondary, and a week after that we'll check it and see if it's ready to go into the bottles. And really that's all there is to it. So next week, I'm not sure if I'll have anything to talk about, but we may brew another batch of something because I'm getting awful low downstairs. So anyway, until next time, have a great week, and we'll see you later. This has been a Matty Boy presentation. Say bye-bye, Matty.